Hi everybody, in this video I'm going to go over my 3 top gut health tips. And my name is Mike the Heal Your Gut Guy. I've healed myself 100% naturally of Crohn's and a bunch of other food intolerances and fun things like that, and I've helped many people do the same thing. They do not have to be on boring, bland diets anymore. They quit all their dangerous, expensive medications, and they live a life free where they can go on a date and have a drink and or a cup of coffee. They can have a birthday, they can have birthday cake on their birthday. They can eat pizza out with their friends. They can live a normal life, and I want to show you how to do this. So a big part of this is German New Medicine, and this first tip we have here is straight out of German New Medicine. We have to identify and neutralize our tracks. Now, this is for people who have like chronic diarrhea. This is straight from here. Now, in German New Medicine, we don't call gut diseases. We call them significant biological special programs. These are special programs running on specific organs or specific tissues that result in symptoms, and these programs run to help you survive stressful situations. So most of your guys' gut issues came up around the same time a stressful issue occurred. Maybe it was a divorce or a bad breakup. Maybe you got fired. Maybe you failed a class in school. It could literally be anything, but it has to register as an indigestible morsel for you. And so the vast majority of you aren't going to experience symptoms until you resolve that conflict, and then you come into the healing phase. So if you had something that's like chronic and been going on for a long time, things like ulcerative colitis, diverticulitis, Crohn's disease, IBS, SIBO, Candida, if you fall under one of those categories, the main issue is identifying and neutralizing tracks. Now, when you see something that reminds your subconscious of the initial conflict, it reruns the healing symptoms. So you're going to get diarrhea like almost instantly when you encounter these things. So a track could be, let's say you failed a test at school, and that was your track, or that was your conflict. So your track could be anytime you feel judged or you don't feel good enough. A track could be anytime you get a graded paper back, you all of a sudden have to you have diarrhea. It could be every time you see the color red because there was a big fat F on your paper. Maybe it's every time you see paper. Maybe it's every time. Maybe it was springtime and there was pollen in the air. It could be anything that was in the environment. That's what it is. It's things that remind your subconscious of the conflict. It's kind of like this warning signal that, like, oh my God, like this is what your subconscious is doing, or your brain is doing. It's going, oh my God, last time I saw this thing, Mike was in trouble. Was rerun the symptoms and try to make him aware of that, or help him through that situation. So we need to identify these things and then neutralize them. And we neutralize them by telling ourselves that these things are safe. I eliminated like all of my food intolerances like overnight. I was having trouble with pasteurized dairy. I was having trouble with gluten and things like that. Once I realized this, that I have no reason to be allergic to nutrients and energy. These foods are safe. Thank you, subconscious, for reminding me that last time I saw these things, we were in a stressful situation. Thank you for trying to warn me that there might be danger in the area, but it's safe. It's okay. It's okay. So I know that sounds like a little crazy, and you've not heard this from anywhere else, but this is the root cause of your gut issues. I am not kidding. This is the root cause of your gut issues. Right here. Not all gut issues, but if you have Crohn's, colitis, diverticulitis, ulcerative colitis, SIBO, Candida, food intolerances, diarrhea, bloody mucus in your stools, bam. Like, the majority of your work should be focused on doing this. Now, the way that we develop food tracks, the way we develop these food intolerances is, let's say we go back to that graded paper analogy. So you get another graded paper back, and you got a B instead of an A, and that triggered it. And so you're running to the bathroom to go crap your pants, and while you're sitting on the toilet, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about, what did I eat today? Oh, I had milk. Oh, I had gluten today. It's probably that. That's what, and then that's how that gets established, as that's how food tracks get established. Now, some of you are still in the conflict active phase, so if you have GERD, acid reflux, heartburn, or constipation, or anal fissures, then you are still in the conflict active phase, and you need to resolve that conflict. And then you'll be put into the healing phase, and then you'd have to worry about this. But for the vast majority of you, you've already resolved your conflict, and you're here. And if you want more information about German New Medicine, I'll leave a link down below to learninggnm.com, and I also have a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel about German New Medicine. So the second one is to eat lots of protein. And the reason for this is, we're mostly made out of a protein. After hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen, the next most plentiful element in the body is nitrogen, and you get that from protein. But also, when you're in the healing phase, there's going to be cell proliferation or cell removal. So there's tissue that needs to be rebuilt either way, depending on what significant biological special programs are running, and you need protein to rebuild this healthy tissue. You need lots of protein. Think about bodybuilders. When they're building tissue, they eat tons and tons and tons and tons of protein. I don't think I know of one bodybuilder that doesn't take whey protein powder or creatine. I'm going to put creatine on here because creatine has really helped me put on weight. I know a lot of holistic experts will tell you, like, oh, these bodybuilding things aren't healthy. Da, 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 da. Guess what? These huge bodybuilders are much healthier than you, and they can tolerate these. There's no toxins. Even the worst whey protein powder isn't like. It's very beneficial. It's very the protein is the main building block of the body. We need protein. I wouldn't worry. A lot of these health experts today are like, oh, you got to worry about your kidneys when you're eating so much protein, blah, blah. Forget that. You are in the healing phase. Your body needs lots of protein. End of discussion. So whey protein powder is good. If you do liquid whey, that's good too, but you're not going to be able to consume enough liquid whey. You literally have to work on a dairy farm. So I recommend the whey protein powders. Creatine powder is also great for help building muscle and putting on weight. And meat stock. Now, this is not to be confused with bone broth. So meat stock is gelatinous when it's cold. It makes jello. But bone broth, on the other hand, still remains liquid when you refrigerate it. So that's the main difference, because people get those confused. We want meat stock. This has lots of protein in it that's going to help rebuild the gut tissue. They also have something else called meat jelly. I think this is popular in Germanic countries, but it's kind of like meat imprisoned in jello, meaty jello. It's tasty. You can make healthy jello where you just take fruit juice and gelatin and put them together. That's very tasty. It's a good dessert. Takes literally 2 seconds to make. And then we have just meat in general and other dairy products, meat and dairy, eggs. These are all really good sources of protein. But whey is going to be the easiest to digest protein, and meat stock. But as far as gaining weight, whey and creatine are my favorite ways to put on weight. No pun intended. All right, and then the third one is to promote a vagatonic state. And vagatonic, parasympathetic, rest and digest state. So we want to promote a relaxed state, because when we become stressed out, parasympathetic, this is going to hurt our digestion more. So when you're in a stressed out state, the blood flow goes to the extremities instead of your core organs. And the digestion suffers because of this. So what are some things we can do to promote a vagatonic state, to promote a rest and digest state? One is to avoid stimulants. Things like smoking, like nicotine, that's a stimulant. You could, coffee, kombucha, black teas, these things all have stimulants in them. Energy drinks, Red Bull, these are all stimulants that are, hurting your digestion, because it's promoting this state that does not support the rest and digest state. It slows down the peristalsis, and it impedes digestion. And if your digestive system's already messed up, again, we want this healing to take place, and that healing takes place in a vagatonic rest and digest state. So breathing exercises, you could do some mental work, but probably the biggest one for me is avoiding coffee. Just 1 cup of coffee a day for me, and it cuts my food intake in half. I don't want to eat anything for the rest of the day, and it's just not a good habit. We don't need all these stimulants. Instead of having coffee, you can get into the habit of making a whey protein drink, or having your creatine drink and put a little fruit juice in there. You could get a calming, make a calming lavender tea or something like that. Or you could do rosehip tea, rosehip is actually, the vitamin C I think is actually a little bit of a stimulant, but it's a lot better than, drinking a full-on stimulant like coffee or something like that. Or maybe, and don't come off of these things like cold turkey. It's quite a miserable experience. So what I would do is slowly wean yourself off. Go from, 2 cups a day to 1 cup a day, and then go from 1 cup a day to a half a cup a day, and then go from a half a cup to a shot a day, and do this every week you cut down half your dosage size. Because I was a 1 cup a day coffee person, and it was miserable for me coming off of coffee. I had to do it in stages. And so yeah, those are the 3 things, my 3 gut health tips. But literally, this is the root cause, and this is the biggest one. If you're gonna do nothing else, do this. And again, if you're already in the healing stage. So if you guys want to learn all my secrets to healing your gut so you can eat whatever you want again, or and what my students did as well, then what you need to do is go down below, and I have a link to my rapid gut healing program, which we usually sell for $1,000, but now we're having a special deal for $497, or 6 easy payments of $97. And we're going to raise this price without warning once we meet a certain threshold of people, because we want to make sure in our Facebook group we have coaches giving people advice. We want to make sure that everyone's getting enough attention. So once we reach a certain student cap, we're going to increase the price to $1,000. So, and I'm going to do this without warning, so that you'll have no heads up. So be sure to get in there. And this is a risk-free investment. This is information you're going to be using for the rest of your life, guys. I've spent thousands of dollars. I've hundreds of hours researching this stuff, testing it on myself, and this is invaluable. If you go to your doctor, it's going to cost you $100, and you're going to have to spend $100 on medications, and they're just going to send you off in circles. Same thing with holistic health coaches and nutritionists, they have no idea what they're talking about. They don't understand, they don't know what this is. And this is what's causing it. Disease starts in the brain, or better said, in the psyche. And I want to show you how to turn off this significant biological program that's running in your psyche. We got to shut that off first before we do all these things. Otherwise, these things don't matter. You can eat perfectly, do all the disinfectants and all that stuff, and detox and not touch plastic ever again. Oh boy, I'm touching plastic. It doesn't matter if you don't address the root cause, which is letting this significant biological special program run to completion. And the tracks keep it from doing that. So that's really important, and some of you need to resolve your conflicts, and I have more videos on that, but everything is explained in full detail in this course. We do live Q&As 2 times a week, so you can talk to me or one of my coaches twice a week. And every single day we're answering questions inside the Facebook group. We have a workbook with a meal plan. I mean, we got you covered. We have everything you need to get better, and it's inside that course. But that's all I have for you guys today. I will see you later. Bye-bye.